Man, we skipped 5 years. I mean, Ellie must be a badass by now.
If you gotta check out the employee.
You sussy baka.
Well, I stand corrected. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for The Last of Us. This one's going to be doing my very first review for The Last of Us Season 2. This one is for Episode 1, titled Future Days. Now, yep, we're here, Dan After Dark. We're here to review the Season 2 premiere of The Last of Us. It just aired, and I want to give my thoughts, my initial reaction, my opinions on this episode, and all that fun stuff. Okay, so what did we think of the return of The Last of Us with Season 2, Episode 1? Now, I gotta say, man, I didn't expect to see this episode play out in the way it did. I'm gonna start with that. I mean, this episode, and I gotta say, I was really impressed with the way the episode started. The way they did the opening of the episode with Abby, which is a new character to the TV series, obviously, we know her very well from the video game. We do learn in the opening scene of this episode that it sounds like Joel had a huge impact on what he did. In the Season 1 finale, when he killed the doctors, of course, and everybody, you know, that was around, that were going to kill Ellie, obviously, and they were going to take her out, you know, to save the world and to cure everything and all that stuff, right? It seems like when he killed the doctor, it sounds like that had a big impact on certain people. And that's when we introduced the leader of this crew named Abby, who is played by Kaitlyn Denver. Now, Kaitlyn Denver is a phenomenal actress. She's great. And for the little that she had in this episode, I will say I was very impressed with her. I was very impressed. I've said this many times before. I was looking forward to her role as Abby. I really was, because it's such a different role, you know what I mean, for her. It doesn't really fit her vibe, but I was really, really curious to see how they were going to do it. And I must admit, the opening scene to this episode was so cool. Seeing, you know, how everything went there, seeing her and her people and how angry they are towards Joel and towards, you know, what he's doing. It's really insane. However, I will say, besides that opening scene and besides what they did there with Abby, yeah, I gotta admit, I was a little bored. I was a little bored during this episode. I was kind of bored. Here's the thing. When you have a 7-episode season, I expect things to move a little bit quicker than they did in this episode. This episode didn't really do much to progress the story. We literally watched for about, about an hour worthy of stuff. You know, we catch up with Joel, we catch up on him, we see what he kind of, dealt with after the end of Season 1, saving Ellie for himself, and, seeing kind of how that all kind of mapped out for him. He's going to therapy, of course, which the therapist is the woman that plays the mother of Kevin in Home Alone, so that's pretty cool. We get to see her as well, and, we get to see Ellie in this one. She's, training to kill, the infected and stuff. We see Tommy briefly. We kind of catch up with some of our characters briefly. I will admit, and I'm going to be the first to say this, the dialogue with Ellie is cringe. I've said this many times before. Ellie on the show and Ellie in the game does not feel like the same character. It just doesn't. I'm not going to lie. The way she's like yelling like, "I'm not bad," and all this stuff, I was cringing the whole time. I'm not gonna lie. It just doesn't feel like game Ellie. It just doesn't to me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get into it, but it's not working for me. It's really not. And I must say, I was really, really annoyed with the fact that this entire episode, she's going off. She's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not bitten. I'm not bit." And then later in the episode, she gets bit. I'm like, okay, I guess that's like foreshadowing or something like that. I don't know. But like, not much was going on here, man. Not much was happening. And then you finally get this like supply run that they go on, and they go out there briefly. And you've got Dina, who is like kind of, Ellie's friend here, right? And obviously they've adapted Dina from the video game as well, too. Dina is a character we know from the game. Jesse is in this as well, too, who's another character that we know from the video game. Ellie's got her little friend clique in this one, which is, pretty cool. But they basically go up to this building. You got like some like clickers that are involved. And obviously the clickers are always, well made. They're always executed. But I just found the scene really odd. Like they're like going through this place and stuff like that. And then Ellie fights one. She like jumps up behind one and like starts knifing it and stuff. And then she falls through the floor, and then she's like kind of sneaking around. It was an interesting kind of scene to see this like fight kind of go through and stuff like that, but I didn't find it was like anything exciting. I just felt like I was like, okay, like, you know, it's very typical. And then they kind of just go back to Jackson. The overall plot doesn't really progress aside from they fought a few clickers, you know? Like, I kind of expected to see, you know, something to do with Abby, something to do with them catching up to our crew, something, but we didn't really get that, you know? Like, we got Ellie fighting and then Dina in there, and that was kind of it. You had this, like, cringe scene where they're standing there ready to kill the clickers, and they're like, you know, they're like, they got like the knives and stuff. They keep like smiling at each other. I was like, oh my God, like this is weird. Like, this is just cringe to me. And then obviously, like, towards the end of the episode, you got, like, them. They're at this, like, dance and stuff like that. You can tell that Joel and Ellie are kind of not really getting along all that well because, like, you get this, like, older guy that, like, kind of interferes while Dina and, you know, Ellie are kissing and dancing and all this stuff. And Joel kind of just pushes him aside, and then that's kind of it. And then, you know, Ellie gets mad because he kind of made a scene and stuff like that. And then they kind of look at each other as you got Joel on the porch playing the guitar. She kind of looks at him and stuff, and then we basically link up with Abby's crew at the end of the episode, as we can see that they have been traveling for a while, and they're on the outskirts of Jackson, and they're staring them down, right? They're kind of staring everything down. So, not what I expected. I mean, I will say a positive of this, I genuinely like the opening scene. I really do. The opening scene is good. The opening scene is enjoyable. I will say I like the opening scene with Abby. I like that they gave us perspective on her role in all this. Obviously, seeing what happened with, you know, Joel being the one that killed the people that she cares about. I like that they're giving context rather than just, you know, kind of jumping right into it. The game players know what I mean. They kind of give you more context on Abby at least, which I did appreciate that. But I felt like we should have gotten somewhere. Like, there were cool fights with, you know, the clickers. I'll give them that. But at the same time, like, I didn't really feel like we got anywhere. It was a pretty boring, dry, slow episode. And for a 7-episode season, I must admit, I expected a little bit more from this first episode. I'm not gonna lie. I expected a little bit more. I'm not vibing with Bella Ramsey's Ellie, especially not in this episode. She just makes me cringe, guys. I can't lie. She makes me fucking cringe. I just don't think she was the right Ellie, and especially watching this episode, you're supposed to believe that this kid's a badass 19-year-old girl. I'm not sold on it, man. I don't know. It's just not working for me. I found Joel was just kind of sitting there the whole episode. Joel didn't really do anything. I wish he was involved in more of the plot, especially if you're going to keep him around for the first episode. You know, like I said, I do like the Abby scenes. I like that they're building that a little bit. I think that's cool. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of interesting. And I will say the episodes coming up this season do look good. I just wasn't really all that blown away with this first episode. I was just kind of watching. I was kind of just there. There were decent fights, but I didn't feel like they amounted to anything aside from let's just have a cool, you know, few zombie kills. I wanted the plot to progress in this one, like actually show, you know, Abby do things, actually show, you know, her confront our characters, you know what I mean? And I know we're going to get that, but I don't know. It didn't really work for me. I got to be honest. It didn't really vibe with me at all. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe this episode aside from just saying it was boring. I didn't hate everything about it. I didn't, but I just didn't think that like it was anything all that special. I'm gonna just go middle ground for now. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna drop a 5. I admittedly am trying to be nice when I do that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I'm grateful that we are keeping Joel for now, but I wasn't really vibing with the story of this episode. It didn't feel like we did anything. It just felt like we kind of moved in circles. We went on a supply run. We killed, you know, a clicker or two, and then that was kind of it. You know what I mean? That was kind of it. The only real big things I loved about this episode, truly, I loved seeing how it picked up right after the season 1 finale. I thought that was a nice touch. And I will say I like the Abby portions because I like that they're setting that up. It's kind of a slow burn, but I do like how they're setting that up and they're showing what Joel did, you know? But aside from that, I really didn't care about the rest. Bella Ramsey's Ellie makes me cringe. I found Pedro's Joel to just kind of be there. He didn't really do much this episode, besides push a dude, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. From all the trailers and all the things we saw, I really thought we'd get more than this. But we're going to have to keep watching the season, right? So that's just my honest thoughts. I hope you guys understand that, you know, because I know a lot of people are really big fans of this show. I wasn't really vibing with it. I got to be honest. I was kind of bored. But, you know, it is what it is. Let me know what you thought down below. I'm rooting for the rest of this season. I am. And I am intrigued with Abby. I am. So let me know your thoughts. Post your comments down below, guys. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe and to miss any other videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Views Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos of The Last of Us. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.